I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. Hey you guys, this is Stephanie coming to you live out of my kids' bedroom. The reason why I'm in here is they have the best light. But anyway, I am making this video today because I've been wanting to share with you guys about something that's happened in my life. It's just the birth of Kinnison. I just wanted to kind of you know, explain what happened last year. So because you know, we made our story part 1 and then it was like silence until our until the video I posted of Antonio dancing. I was gonna be making videos once a week. We were gonna film part 2 of the video, which we might still. We were actively trying to get pregnant at that time, and so we have been trying for a while. We've been trying for probably like 4 or 5 months. We've been trying, and to no success. The week after I posted our story part 1 video, I wasn't feeling good, and so you know, I was calculating. I was like, okay, well, my period's supposed to be this day, and I know at this day I can take a pregnancy test and maybe it'll show up. I took a pregnancy test and it was positive. And I was like, okay, great. How am I gonna tell Antonio? Because I was so excited. I was like, oh, yes. I was like, well, we're doing the YouTube channel. We're doing the videos. Let me make a video. And so I made the worst video ever of me telling him that I was pregnant. And look, I was nervous. I was shaking, like I'm like, here. Anyway, I'll go ahead and post the video. I'm gonna insert it here.
I wasn't able to get the video to download, so I'll just link it in the description bar.
And yeah, that was the video. And he was like, wow. And I was like, oh, that's your reaction. Okay. Once I told him, he was like, you know, you should probably do a video a week. Basically, a video a week explaining how I was feeling, what I was going through at that time, you know, going through my pregnancy. He said, I bet a lot of people would really like that. And I was like, I'm sure they would, but I don't feel like it because I was really, really tired. There were days that, because I worked in a hospital, there were days where I almost went and checked myself in at the ER because I felt so bad. No, I didn't really do that, but I did talk to like a nurse practitioner, and she gave me a prescription for nausea medicine because it was that bad. Like because I sat in my own little office and I would literally like almost throw up in the trash can at my desk. I was like, I can't, like there's no way for us to edit, like sit here, have me do all these videos and then edit it. Basically what happened throughout my pregnancy is month 1 through 3, I was miserable. I've never been one to really just like pregnancy anyway. It's never like, I've never been like, hey, I love being pregnant. I'm glowy, like I have fresh skin, my hair is getting long. Yes. No, I'm like, oh, I can show y'all pictures of how like tired and how horrible I felt because I was just like, when is this gonna be over? Like, I'm so happy I'm pregnant, but when is it gonna be over? And then on top of that, I have Keegan was 3 and Jaden was 5, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and being pregnant, no ma'am. I found out I was pregnant in October. So like February, I left my job at Kingwood and I went to Conroe so I could be closer to home. And so I was working 12-hour days, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 3 days a week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then a half day on Wednesday. It was 7 a.m. to like 1 p.m. or something like that. And then I would have the rest of the week off from that job. Well, I figured we were kind of going through some tough times, so I got a second job. Yes, me, pregnant, big. I'm working 2 jobs now. So I was working a lot of hours. I was extremely tired. But by that time, I was okay. It was really hot. So this was April. I was getting up there. I was already 7 months pregnant. I was big. I had already gained probably 40 pounds by then. By the time I gave birth, I was 230 pounds. 165 to 230. Yeah, I gained a lot of weight. I was just big. I was big. I was really big, and I was so uncomfortable. Like, this was like, it hurt for me to walk. Like, when you see a pregnant person waddling, know that they're in pain, because I was in so much pain, and I used to walk all day long. So for my birthday, we just went out to eat. That was it. We just went home. So that was May. June was my my baby shower, and it was the month Kennison was born. So yes, I'm a procrastinator, and I wait till the last minute for everything. So I had my baby shower like 2 or 3 weeks before she was born. My baby shower was on June 9th. I had her on the 26th. So yeah. So I was miserable month 1 through 3, and then I was miserable month 7, 8, 9. I wasn't like trying to induce my pregnancy, but I was like trying to get some contractions going because I wanted it to hurry up. I was drinking the hibiscus tea because I know it can induce contractions. And so I was like, yes, let me go ahead and take it. I got a yoga ball. I was bouncing on a yoga ball. I was eating a whole bunch of pineapple because I know that helps too. I'm miserable. I just want this baby out. Oh, and by the way, I didn't find out what I was having until she was born. It's getting late June. I've been calling into work this whole week because I had been having contractions. I was having them at night. I was having them enough for me to not want to go to work in case I was gonna have her, and then I would have to like go home and get everything ready and then go back to the hospital. Tuesday, I mostly stayed at home because I'm like, okay, you know, I'm having contractions here and there, but they're not really picking up, so I don't want to go anywhere in case like my water breaks. Probably it was between 8 and 10. I was bouncing on my yoga ball and I was timing my contractions on my phone because I was like, okay, I'm having one, you know, it's tight in my stomach. Like, I feel it, you can feel it, it's really hard. Let me go ahead and time this just to make sure. And then, so, you know, the rule is 5-1-1, 5-1-1. 5 minutes apart, 1 minute long for 1 hour. I had been timing it for 2 hours. So I was like, you know what? They're still kind of all over the place, but let's go ahead and go to the hospital. Whenever I got there, I was 3 centimeters. They don't keep you if you're 3 centimeters. And I had been 3 centimeters for the past like month. And I was like, are you freaking serious? Like, come on. Like, I'm having contractions. You can see, because I showed them my app on my phone. I was like, you can see that I'm having contractions. You can't just keep me or like kind of like help me along. Like, give me some Pitocin or something. And they're like, no. And I was like, are you kidding me? And while I was there, I heard somebody else come in for contractions and stuff. I heard the nurse go, oh, you're 5 centimeters. Looks like we're gonna keep you. And I was like, tears. Do you hear me? I was so sad. So we get home and I was like, I don't care what we have to do. I am having this baby. In the next day, like today, I'm having this baby today. And so I was like, Antonio, get over here. We're about to do the baby dance. We're about to get this baby out. I woke up at 4:41. I remember it because I wrote it down. I woke up at 4:41 having a very strong contraction. And I have been having contractions, but this one was different. You can tell the difference between a Braxton Hicks and a regular contraction. I woke up and I was like, ow. And I was like, Antonio. And so he woke up and he was like, what's up? And I was like, I just had a really strong contraction. He was like, oh, you did? And I was like, yes. He was like, well, you've been having contractions. Are you sure? Like, do you think that's the real thing? And I was like, this is definitely the real thing. I told him, I was like, just chill out. let me see if I have any more. Let me time these for a little bit, make sure, you know, that they're not gonna space out again, or they're not gonna, you know, weaken or anything like that. And he was like, all right. So we sat at the house for maybe 45 minutes, because by that time I was like owing around the house. It was like, okay, yep, let's go. And I was like, all right. We go to the hospital, we check in, they put you in a wheelchair, they take you up the elevator to the second or third floor, they take you to labor and delivery, and then you have a form that you have to fill out before they even take you like and put you in a room. Before I left home, I put on one of those large overnight size pads on, and I was like, just in case. And glad I did that, because while I was filling out that long form that you have to fill out, my water broke. For my first 2 pregnancies, for my boys, my water did not break. They had to break it. So when I felt I was like, oh yeah, that's my water. And I told Antonio, I was like, hey, my water broke. My water just broke. And I told him, I was like, yeah, my water broke while I was sitting here. Can we hurry this up, please? Please, thank you. So she was like, are you sure your water broke? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure my water broke. I didn't just pee on myself. I peed before I left my house. I peed 5 minutes ago. So she was like, okay, all right, we'll get you back there. We'll go ahead and check you. Guess how many centimeters I was, guys? I was 5 centimeters. And I was so happy. I was like, yes, finally, it's go time. Let's do this. They put me in a room, and it was close to 6 o'clock. You know, they had been monitoring my contractions. Of course, they're strong, they're there, they're working, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm just breathing through them. They were like, do you want an epidural? And I was like, no. You're sure you don't want one? Yes. Okay. And the reason why I didn't have an epidural is because the first 2 times that I gave birth, the first epidural I had worked. It worked really good. With Jaden, didn't feel a thing. Great. Second time, Keegan, had him at Livingston Hospital. They poked me 8 times in the back to get the epidural in. And I had him 30 minutes later, so it really didn't help anything. So I was like, I don't need it. I don't need it. Keep your meds. I don't need it. This hospital has wireless monitors. If you've never seen a wireless monitor, it's they're like probably about this big. They have little sticky things. They have to like shave your stomach in areas, and then they stick it on there, and then they have to make sure that it hooks up with the monitor, and then you're free to walk around or whatever. Anyway, so I had those on, and it was amazing. It is so great to not be laying down confined in a bed. All I had was the fluids hooked up to the to my IV, and then that was it. I could go wherever I wanted to. So I was hooked up to a wireless monitor. By this time, Antonio had called his mom. His mom and his sister had came. I called my aunt. She was there, and then my kids were there. Everybody's in the room, by the way, which I don't mind. Keep me company, please, because I would rather be laughing and having a good time than be stuck in a bed, you know, or stuck in the room anywhere just by myself, hurting, and no one's around me. They had called the doctor. My doctor comes in. She's like, hey, you're doing pretty good. I see that you are 5 centimeters. You know, this, you know, obviously labor kind of takes a while. So I actually have another surgery I have to perform before I come back and help you deliver your baby. I was like, all right, that's cool, whatever. You know, I'm having a good time. Everybody's in here keeping me company. She was like, and you're not in any pain? And I was like, not enough. She was like, and you don't want an epidural? I was like, no. She's like, all right, well, I'll go. So I was like, okay. At this time, I'm having 2 contractions back to back. I'm having a larger one, and then I'm having a smaller one, and then there's like 45 seconds in between. And then I'm having a larger one, and then I'm having a smaller one. So it's basically like 2 minutes of contractions, and then a small break. Whenever I have a contraction, everybody gets quiet. Everybody. Because I'm holding on to the IV pole with my belly. I'm holding on to the IV pole like this, like And then when I'm done, I'm like, all right, so what were you saying? Oh, that was a funny joke, by the way. And then everybody just thinks it's so funny. They're like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I'm having a baby. It's a social event. Then probably about 20 minutes goes by. No, not even 20 minutes. It was probably like 10, 15 minutes. I have this one contraction. When I tell you that sucker hurt, like I was on the IV pole and then I was on the bed, like with my arms down, like breathing through it. Whenever I got done, I turned to my aunt and I said, hey, can you call that nurse that asked me if I wanted an epidural? I don't want an epidural. I want the pain medicine that hangs from the bag. Can you ask her for that? And she was like, sure. And I was like, okay. Because I was like, all right, that's it. that one hurt. That one hurt. If I have any more like that, I want a little to take the edge off a little bit. So her and my husband went to go find a nurse. My aunt comes back and she was like, well, we couldn't find her, so Antonio and his sister are gonna look for her. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So, okay, with that first contraction, I let out a yelp. I let out a, oh my God. And my aunt was like, okay, it's time to get the kids out of the room. By the way, nobody had checked me again to see how far I was along. And I had been there for like 2 hours. I got checked up right about 6 o'clock and I was 5 centimeters. It's now 7 o'clock. No one has checked to see how far along I am. So nobody knows. The next contraction I have almost brought me to my knees. I am standing on the side of the bed with my hands on the bed, about to cry because it hurt so bad. When I tell you, it felt like a push. It literally felt like someone took their hands on my stomach and went like this, because that's how strong the contraction was. And so that contraction, I screamed very loudly because I couldn't breathe through that one. And it took me by surprise by how strong it was. And that's a contraction that pushed my daughter's head out. And I was still standing up. I wasn't even in the bed. My aunt ran out. I think my aunt ran out of the room. My mother-in-law was in the room looking at me like, oh my God, like, what happened? What happened? And I'm yelling at her. I'm like, the baby's head is out. The baby's head is out. The baby's head is out. And she was like, no, you gotta be lying. She looked. And yeah, my daughter's head was out. She's like, oh my God, the head is out. And I said, I told you. She was like, get on the bed. My aunt was back in the room. Like all this part is kind of a blur. Anyway, so my aunt's back in the room. She's telling me, get on the bed, get on the bed, get on the bed before you have this baby. And the baby falls on the floor. And I'm like, I can't. And so I have like 15 seconds. Basically, because I know another contraction is coming. So I have like 15 seconds to get on the bed, maneuver into me laying down on my back so I can have this baby. By the time I get on my back, not even 5 seconds later, another contraction comes. And luckily by that time, a nurse had come in. My aunt's right there. My mother-in-law's right there. My husband is out of the room, probably on his way back. And then I have the other contraction, and I'm telling you, I did not push at all. This baby was out. And, you know, we hadn't found out what the gender was. That was a surprise. My aunt goes, it's a girl! And I was like, oh my God, my husband's not even in here, and you know first, and I haven't even got to see her. And so they're like cleaning her up, and then they hand her to me, and I was like, oh my God. And so my husband runs in, and my aunt goes, it's a girl. He's like, I know, I heard you yell it. So my husband missed the entire birth, everything. He missed it, everything. And he's like, I didn't even get to see her. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you weren't there. Like, I didn't have any control over that. So then they clean her up and everything. And she is so ugly because she came out so I'm so sorry. Like, if you see the first couple of pictures of her, I'm like, ew. Once her face calmed down and she wasn't so bruised and all that stuff, she's so adorable. Like, she is the sweetest and cutest and sassiest little thing ever. I had her Tuesday the 26th, 2018. Yeah, so from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, that's how my birth was. It was a madhouse. It was an entire madhouse. Yeah, the mesh panties saved the day. So that's my girl. She just turned 1. Today is July the 8th. So she turned 1 like last week or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. I couldn't ask for a better daughter. But anyway, that was it. Well, that's my pregnancy anyway. I'll update you about other stuff later. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. You know, I'm an open book. All right, love you guys.